There's still a lot of question marks surrounding the Patriots wide receiver group. Did any of them get answered in minicamp? I'm Alex Barth. He's Evan Lazar. This is the FOXBORO Report powered by betonline.ag. Visit clnsmedia.com/win today and use the promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back. Evan, we know Julian Edelman obviously is going to be a factor. N'Keal Harry, use a first-round pick on a guy he's going to play.
Right.
After that, Philip Dorsett's in the mix. He's probably has the lead in the number 3 spot, but there's a lot of names just kind of bouncing around right now for the Patriots at wide receiver. Who's separated themselves so far throughout minicamp?
Well, I think it is Maurice Harris. I think that he's kind of solidified himself as a guy that's in that top 4. There was a drill very early on in today's practice where they're running full field, 2-minute hurry-up style drills, and you kind of take note of the guys that play with Tom Brady in those drills. And it was Edelman, it was Dorsett, and it was Maurice Harris. It was a 11 personnel, just basic, with the tight end and the running back. The running back was James White. The tight end was Matt Lacoste, and those were the 3 receivers. So when you see that, and you saw it a couple of times too in team drills, that those 3, Dorsett, Edelman, Maurice Harris, were kind of the 3 guys that were rolling a lot with Brady, with obviously Harry sprinkled in. But today was one of those days for Harry. I think that yesterday was a tough day for him. He ran the routes, a lot of the routes that he ran incorrectly, and the coaching staff got on him pretty hard about it. And you kind of saw the repercussions of it today. Yeah. I wouldn't call it a demotion by any means, but he wasn't running with those top 3 as often as he was yesterday.
All right, the name that's not here that not a lot of people are talking about because he's not present but could factor into this is Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah.
Where does he stand in all of this?
I think Demaryius Thomas needs to get himself on the field. I mean, until he gets on the field, you really can't see anything from him, obviously, and you can't really figure out where he's going to be. I think Demaryius Thomas is a candidate to maybe punch out of this a little bit early. I could see him retiring. I could see them team releasing him if he doesn't get on the field by the start of training camp in July, and at least do some things. Then I think that it's going to be very, very difficult for him to make this team as some of these other guys have established themselves.
But when he does come on the field, and it's if and when he does, and it's tough to project this, but just humor me here. Does he jump into that top 3 group? Is he all the way back, catching passes from Etling and Hoyer? Etling and Stidham. Yeah. Where does he sort of factor into all that when he comes back?
I think you got to earn your way, right? We know that in New England. He's certainly not going to come back right away at this stage of his career and be put right in the top 3. I think he's going to have to earn that spot, whether it's taking snaps with Stidham and Etling, I don't know, but probably, going to be like the 5th or the 6th receiver on the depth chart and work his way up. I really think that the top 4 of Edelman, Harry, Dorsett, and Maurice Harris are really kind of putting themselves in a different category here this week, and then it's really going to be up to that second-tier group, the Inmans, the Demaryius Thomases, to really show us something once we put on the pads in July.
So where's Braxton Berrios fit in all of that? Because he has been one of the best players throughout camp. Also, he's a punt returner, and this team needs a punt returner. Can he maybe slide in, I don't know necessarily above Harris on the depth chart, but where does he stand right now versus a guy like Demaryius Thomas?
He looks to me like the perfect candidate to be that 5th receiver that makes the team, because he can return punts and he can back up Julian Edelman in the slot. Maybe those top 4 guys that I mentioned play a little bit more than Braxton Berrios does, unless there's an injury, but I think that he could kind of get into that punt return mode role, similar to what Edelman did at the beginning of his career. Remember, Edelman was strictly a punt returner early on in his career. I think we could see something similar with Braxton Berrios, and as Edelman kind of phases out here as he gets older, maybe then we see, like Edelman did with Welker, you kind of get Wally pipped a little bit.
All right, one last question before we wrap it up here. There is another group, a 3rd-tier group of wide receivers. UDFA's Jacoby Myers, Ryan Davis, Damon Patterson was on the practice squad last year. Those guys seem like camp bodies right now, but as we know with the Patriots, 1 or 2 camp bodies tend to progress their way and end up making the team. Who from that group do you think has the best chance to kind of jump out and make a name for themselves?
I actually think it is Damon Patterson, and I'm not going to go crazy over Damon Patterson, but he has a lot of speed, and we know that. He's a big-time burner, and I think that he offers something on the outside with speed that really only Philip Dorsett has, but he's bigger than Philip Dorsett, and he offers a bigger target than Philip Dorsett. They don't have a ton of speed at the receiver position. Harry's more more of a 4.5 guy, obviously. Dontrelle Inman's not a big speed guy. Maurice Harris is football fast, but I'm not sure how fast he is in the 40
He's
or something
quick.
like that.
He's not fast.
Yeah, and obviously we know Julian Edelman's certainly quicker than he is fast. So I think that all those guys, they could use some speed on the outside, but I still like Jacoby Myers a lot. I think that he's a guy, a former quarterback that transitioned to wide receiver at NC State, smart kid. He started running a little bit with the twos with Brian Hoyer here today, so maybe we see him kind of move up that pecking order a little bit.
I will say the one thing about Patterson, and I do like him, that he offers, unlike a guy like Jacoby Myers, Patterson was on this team for most of last year. I think, October, maybe early November, he showed up and was on the practice squad. So he's been in the system, and that's something we know that this team's going to value.
Yeah, I wonder if I don't know if he has practice squad eligibility,
I believe he does.
But he's kind of a practice squad
I think he's
candidate.
definitely a practice squad
I could see them taking him as a high priority practice squad candidate when they do get roster cutdowns.
All right, well, we'll see. Let us know what you think of the Patriots wide receiver situation in the comments below or on Twitter at PatriotsCLNS. This edition of the FOXBORO Report has been powered by betonline.ag. Visit clnsmedia.com/win today and use the promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back. For Evan Lazar, I'm Alex Barth from Gillette Stadium. Thanks for watching.